Looks to me like they headed toward the crazy mountains with what they've got left. Meade considered that for a few moments before commenting, I suppose that could be. Or it could be a war party that just happened to stop here to eat before they swung south to raid again. Hawk shrugged. It could be, he said, but it ain't. They ain't looking to raid nobody. They ain't in any shape to raid anybody. They're just hungry, and there ain't no more buffalo to hunt thanks to us. If they're hungry, they should report to the reservation, Meade snapped. It's our job to drive them there if they don't go willingly. That's one way of looking at it, Hank allowed. But it ain't always turning out for 'em like that. Judging by what's happened to some of their brothers, the reservation just gives them a place to sit around while they starve to death. Meade fixed on him with an expression of disgust. Sometimes I forget your love for your Blackfoot friends. I was willing to give you the opportunity to demonstrate your loyalty to the people who pay your salary as a scout. But I can plainly see that your loyalty continues to ride with the Indians. In view of that, I'm telling you, as of this instant, you are no longer employed by the U.S. Army. He waited for Hawk's reaction, half expecting to have him restrained. Hawk didn't say anything for a long moment. He wasn't really surprised, but somewhat stunned by the incredibly simple excuse to fire him. He had known for a long time that it was Meade's desire to fire him, but because of Hawk's popularity with all the other officers, it had been difficult for him to find good reason. When Hawk finally responded, it was to say, Well, you're the boss. I figured you'd come up with something sooner or later. He turned to Ben Mullins, who appeared to be more in shock than Hawk was. There are tracks on the other side of the creek where they headed back west toward the crazy mountains. They'll most likely give you a good time trying to find them up in those mountains. With that, he turned, took Rascal's reins, and led the big buckskin gelding toward the rear of the column, exchanging nods of good luck with several of the soldiers as he passed. Behind him, he heard Meade giving orders to rest the horses. Rascal deserved a rest as well, so to avoid any further conflict with the lieutenant, he walked a few dozen yards upstream before letting his horse go to water. Hawk's firing caused an awkward silence among the troopers. John Hawk had proven himself the most capable scout at Fort Ellis, in the estimation of every soldier who had ever ridden with him. That opinion was shared by most of the other scouts who rode out of Fort Ellis. Soon the silence was breached by several whispered discussions about the unexpected firing, as several small fires were built to boil coffee. Off in his exile, Hawk decided a cup of coffee would taste pretty good right then as well. He gathered some dead limbs and soon had a fire going. He was down by the creek filling his coffee pot when he heard Ben Mullins behind him. Put enough water in it for me. Hawk looked over his shoulder and smiled. All right, I'll fill it up. But ain't you worried the lieutenant will see you drinking coffee with me? Well, he didn't order me not to, Ben said. And me and you share a campfire most of the time anyway. He shrugged. I don't know. Maybe he'll fire me too. Then he can scout for himself. He picked up a few sticks for the fire on his way back with Hawk and the coffee pot. Getting serious then, he said, Damn, Hawk. That was a raw deal that son of a bitch just gave you. What the hell did you do to deserve that? I don't know, Ben. Some folks just have a natural dislike for other folks. Meade and I ain't ever got along real good. He paused to think about it. And there was that time on the Yellowstone when I told him he was a damn fool for giving up on a patrol. The thought of that brought a chuckle from him. Meade don't take criticism too well. Ben shook his head, still finding it hard to believe. Can he fire you from your job like that? Without going through Major Brisbane or anybody? I reckon so, Hawk said, placing the coffee pot on the edge of the fire so it wouldn't boil too fast. He's in command of all the scouts at Fort Ellis, so you'd best mind your P's and Q's when you ride with them. Maybe you can still scout at one of the other forts, Ben suggested, genuinely worried for Hawk. Maybe I could.